And we're live.
A
Peace to the world. We back again
peace to the gods.
for another episode of the Think Music Podcast. I am who I am, and
I'm Dap Dunlap.
and yeah, because my name's sitting right down here, so hell, try to give it a dramatic flair to it. Um, so what's going on, G?
Um, just kicking it, man. Um, all is well over here. Um, everyone's doing well. Thought I was gonna make a trip. It's canceled. So talked to my son a little bit. So I'll holler at him a little more tomorrow, but think he's in a good place. Um, but yeah, outside of that, um, chilling, man. Hung out with Mom Dukes today. Did some running around and with her, and came back home and kicked it with the wife and uh, the little one, and had a little dance battle and uh,
Oh,
ate some dinner. Yeah, he came up with this concept of dancing and fighting. So we a dance fighting battle. Yeah, interesting stuff. And so we did that and ate some dessert together, and I dozed off a little bit because I dozed before I was gonna go clean. And then my son texted me and asked me could we postpone it. So I hit you up to say I'm good to go, and we here.
yes, yeah, we here. Um, Still trying to get my little camera situated here. So yeah, at first didn't look like we were gonna make it. Weezy's here, and yeah, interesting week, but the title tonight, how to overcome failure, and at the risk of sounding um cliche-ish, we decided to go ahead with that title. Um, because it is what it is. And it is something that all humans are going to deal with repeatedly, failure. So we talked about this talked about it quite a bit, the whole concept of failing. So we thought we'd come and hash out the conversation in public,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And I came a little more prepared this evening with just a few little nuggets that I kind of uh, took note of, that I think may be helpful to be put on the table.
Yeah.
And because a lot of times we might be on here 3 hours and then the next day I'm like, what I really wanted to main things I wanted to say, I didn't even touch on it.
Right.
Or two
Yeah,
or three
I
points.
think I think I got to do a little better with show notes myself, being a little more because we talked about this probably like Tuesday, in the conversation we was having over the phone. Um, that's probably when I need to take some notes. of what my thoughts are, and then bring them back for the conversation for the podcast. So yeah, I'm glad you have some notes to give us like a template to use to stay on it.
Yeah. Did you wanna jump into it or?
Oh yeah. What do you have?
Oh, okay, okay. I'll say if you okay, I'll kick it off.
I mean,
Well,
I'll use your template to you know I don't mind kicking it off. I'll use your template to kick it off though.
well,
Once the mind get to flowing, then then things will start coming to me out of the ether.
right. Um, I like to oftentimes reference my trusty resource here,
Oh yeah.
the origins of English words. As you can see, this book has been through it. This is a very well used book. You see,
Wifey just got that book, and
yeah,
she's looking into it.
I need to purchase another copy. Um, let's see here if they got fall in here or if they got fail. Yeah, fall. Let's just see what the root etymology here. The etymology of the word fail. Huh. It's interesting. Sometimes in this book they'll give you a root in the back. They don't give you no definition of it in the front. But that's all right. They gave another one. PHOL, fold. Let's see what it's got to say. To make, slide, hence, to trick, deceive. And that's coming from the root PHOL, fold. To make, slide, hence, to trick, deceive. And from that we get the Latin fallere, falsum, fail, failure, failsafe, fallible, and so forth. But it's interesting. To make, slide, hence, to trick, deceive. Even that definition to me is very coded because connotatively, when we think of a trick and deception, we think of something bad. But maybe the definition is saying that the whole concept is the trick, because as in the trick is in thinking that the trick has to be something diabolical, that the deception has to be something diabolical, so that we have come to associate falling with something bad.
Okay.
Something negative, something to try to avoid at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to start with etymology because it goes back, it gives us a kind of a root to work with instead of just the branches and the leaves and so forth. It gives us a little something a little more grounded to move from.
Yeah.
And so the question then is failure necessarily bad?
Is failure necessarily bad?
Can you boost your mic just a little bit? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good. How's that?
Yeah, that's a little better.
How's this?
Yo, that's good.
Okay. Um, is failure necessarily bad? I think personally, I don't want to sound redundant, but it kind of taps into what we were talking about last week of um in a way you need to fail to build yourself up in a sense of um I guess you're not necessarily um you may be weak in a particular area and and then you put some work in that area to build yourself up to where you may not um be the best at it, but you could, I guess, be manageable in the thing. You know what I mean? Like, I guess you look at it like the tiers of an athlete. Like you got your LBJs, then you know you got your guy that puts up 12 a game, but he doesn't have that next level. Um, and then you got your guys that they're good enough to be in the league, but they don't necessarily get playing time. Um, but they all worked as hard as they could to boost what they did have, and it still got them somewhere. Um, I guess it's like if you work with LeBron James, if you work out with him and you're an average person, like you'll get in shape, you'll be great, but you just don't have the skill set. So is that, you know what I mean? Is that failure or is that uh I don't know, is that um I don't know. I lost myself a little bit. I had an idea because I was thinking about this the other day, but um I don't
um,
it'll come to me.
I guess when I thought about this conversation, one thing that comes to mind is even the ability to be here having this conversation and the ability to create music is a result of a failure in my life, big time failure. And we could say a series of failures that occurred in my life. Um, it's not popular to say that when you come into wanting to study at a more in-depth level certain areas of existence, it's not it's not popular to say I failed my way into this. If you'll
Mm,
notice, the the more intriguing storyline is I was doing great and I decided to drop everything to fulfill my divine purpose. I could have I could have been anything. I could have been a pilot. I could have been CEO of FAQ Corporation, you know, but I dropped all of that to come and serve the people.
mm,
That's sexy. That's that has a heroic flair to it. But unfortunately, I don't have that story to tell. Me sitting here tonight personally is the result of failures. Because if I hadn't failed in certain aspects of life starting like 11 years ago, eh, I wouldn't be here. would have things would have been too sweet. I wouldn't have had the hunger. Likely, I can't speak in absolutes. I might not have had the hunger to dig into things the way I have had I not failed.
Mm,
And that's where I'm kind of going from my perspective
okay.
of looking at failure. Um, and it seems to be, in some regards, something that's hinted at or suggested quite often, especially in your more ancient texts. You know, there's something coded in there about failure, you know, but
And it seems like with the failure, it's, did we say redemption story in it? You know,
there
like
can't be a redemption without a failure.
right. Um, yeah, I look at it like doing music. Um, there was a time where, man, I used to be able to freestyle off the top, um, do all these things, and you know, life came in, and um, and changed the direction for a time. Um, after I went through a breakup, and I thought I would be done with the music, and yeah, the I don't know, man. I remember thinking I had my father's attitude towards life, and this is when I'll say I kicked in at 24 because it was when I had my first son, and before that, I seen how my dad was, and I tried to take on his demeanor, and we talk about it all the time. Like we do hypotheticals of, oh, if I was in this situation, this is how I react, and this is what I would do. And and then when I went through that breakup and I took it hard, that's when I found out who I was. I found out that I was emotional, where I tried to be callous. I found out um that I'm a loving person towards you know the women I'm with. Um and it was during those times of having a failed relationship that helped me begin to shape what I wanted from a different, in another, like in a different relationship, and what I was looking for. It gave me a guidepost of what I wanted, what type of woman I wanted, what I was willing to accept, not accept. All these different things begin to come into my mind to help formulate the type of woman I would look for when it was time. And then I also begin to um just meet women for the joy of meeting them. Because you know how it is. You meet a woman, have a good conversation. Well, we had a good. What's your number? And it was like what I did. I just started. I just wanted to meet women and talk to them, and not even ask for a number, and just enjoy the conversation. And
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah. So going through that helped me start understanding myself and being okay with what I was finding out. So went through a couple relationships. Nah, I ain't gonna say relationships. Went through a couple, meeting some women before I met my wife, and then when I met her, we had a because me and my wife do these cars on the table talks, and I just let her know what I was about and what I was looking for from the start, because I felt like if you just come in from the beginning and let a woman know, like, what you're looking for, and what you're trying to do and all these different things in your life, that if she's willing to accept that, and then I'm willing to accept what she says, then we'll take a stab at it and see what happens. And that's what me and my wife did. We going, we going on, and she's gonna be mad at me if I get this wrong, but we going 8 years in. So that was like a failure for me that helped me find myself, and then have a redemption story and finding a woman that fits what I was looking for, and then and moving forward.
Right.
So that might be a bot, G, but I don't know. So yeah,
that's dope. It makes me think. Of, and peace be Zebek. I was trying to make sure that wasn't a bot.
is she real? Yeah, because sidebar, like I be watching some channels, it'd be like these little Asian joints popping up, like,
yeah,
click on 0.39, and
right.
And I clicked on like the picture joints, like I ain't click on that what looks like to be a link or something, but I'm like, yo, what's going on with all these bots out here, bro? Like, it's ridiculous.
If you don't know if you're talking to a human sometime, or well, if you're a human, then peace.
Yes, if you're a human, peace.
There's well, yeah, let's just get on into it. There's the whole concept of the unleavened bread. We're coming up on Passover season, and so you will have the rituals with the unleavened bread, and I want to reference that as it pertaining to the conversation this evening, and I'm just gonna go ahead and give a plug here for this. And in the back of the book, and by the way, you can get this at mastersofthecosmos.com, but this is The Lies Behind the Tithes. I want to read something on page 238. I start here. I say, there is a contradiction here, though, that can only find explanation in the esoteric occult world. It becomes evident in the 4th verse, and it reads, now when you bring an offering of grain offering baked in an oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers spread with oil. 5. If your offering is a grain offering made on the griddle, it shall be of fine flour, unleavened, mixed with oil. Okay, what I was reading from this is in Leviticus. Let's see, did I put in here Leviticus chapter, maybe the first chapter. Yeah, I think it's the first chapter. Let me see. Yeah, either way. Now let our probing begin. First, the contradiction comes about because of the requirement of unleavened bread made from the finest flour. For clarification, we must consult the Word Soup document. This is something in the back of the book. It reveals that, as mentioned already, to be unleavened is to not rise. Yet flour shares origin with the word phallus and means to rise. So why is there a requirement to have a rising agent that doesn't rise? My deduction is that the law insists upon bread or spirit to not be tainted with the desires of one's lower nature or carnal mind, but instead to come to the altar with an open mind, an empty mind, which is the proper vessel to receive the mind of God. Such is spoken of in several instances in the chapter. So I'll stop right there. Now, the point of me bringing that up is that first, the leavening agent, going back to etymologically to phallus, meaning to rise, okay? But the bread's supposed to come unleavened with no rise in it. For bread to rise, meaning it's full of, let's just say it's full.
Okay.
It has volume. The unleavened bread then has no volume.
Right.
So that means it's been emptied.
Mm-hmm.
I'm associating empty or unleavened with failure.
Okay.
And so unless something has been emptied, it cannot be full. That's part of what I think that is saying symbolically. You know,
something's pulled from you through your education, through a lack of understanding and knowledge. You can't be full and grow.
exactly. And this concept is not the Bible or the Torah does not have a monopoly on this concept. This is universal.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a document I found online. It's called I don't even know. I guess this is where I started, but it leads off the word imperishable is the firstborn of truth, mother of the Veda and hub of immortality. That's at the top. I'm gonna read this real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we can comment on it. The Vedic and I'm just a quick part of it because this thing is like it's a few pages, but this is just a couple paragraphs.
All right.
The Vedic revelation tells us in innumerable texts that Vak, this is a key word, Vak, V-A-C. Innumerable texts that Vak, the word, is not just a man-made invention or a mere tool of communication, or even simply an expression of what man is. The Vedic word is indeed this, but is infinitely more. It is ultimately as important as Brahman, and in a way that has to be properly understood, it is Brahman itself. not as ever being is ultimately Brahman, but in a special manner. The word is the first offspring of the absolute and sprang from it in a peculiar way. In the last analysis, God has no name because he himself is word. According to Vedic revelation, Vak, which was at the beginning, cannot be reduced to a single one of its dimensions. To begin with, thought and language are here so intermingled that no separation is possible. Vak is grammatically feminine, and this fact has conditioned a great deal of thinking about the Vedic word. If an ontology of sex was has any meaning at all, it would find here a decisive basis. However that may be, Vak expresses that total surrender, that's the key word, surrender to the source from which it springs, which is characteristically found in the archetype of feminine love. The feminine feature of love being that of finding not only fulfillment, but being itself in the beloved. Okay, I'm not going to read this last paragraph I had highlighted. Okay, so it's saying the Vedic word for word is Vak. Okay, it says, to begin with, thought and language are here so intermingled that no separation is possible. Now, what I find interesting about this text is what I'm picking up that's not being said is that success or whatever is considered success and failure ultimately are so intermingled they cannot be separated. It says thought and language are here so intermingled that no separation is possible. But it says Vak is grammatically feminine. So now we're talking about gender, masculine and feminine are so intermingled. And we're not talking about on some transgender thing, just to be clear. We're talking about on a symbolic basis. But then it says surrender. And to me, surrender really does point back to failure. You know, in our world, surrender is not the game. That ain't the play.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, well, what did you do, big guy? I surrendered. You surrendered?
Yeah.
That's not how the hero or the heroine is supposed to go out. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. And it's all like that reminds me of vacuum. You know, I know that's obvious. A vacuum removes. And then the word and then vac being feminine makes me think of the woman's what's the technical term?
Yoni.
Her yoni that receives. And it's funny how this permeates throughout the world, because look, like I was watching Michelle Alexander's channel, and there's a lady on there. She was talking about this park in St. Louis, where like across the street from the park is like a geyser, which is looked at as the phallic symbol, and it gushes the water, which will be an ejaculation. Across the street from the park, she points out, is the whole woman setup, the fallopian tubes, the canal, the labia, everything, and they're across the street from each other. So yeah, you know, that's funny. It's like in reading Francis Quest Wesling's book Keys to the Colors, it's a lot of that symbolism in that book also, with the phallic symbol and things like that. So that vac and that remove and failure, yeah, the removal of that, and surrender, yeah, it's like you said, that's big in our in our society. And you know yeah, it's like, wow, like what does that, like why is that, you know what I mean? And we know, I think, just from looking at our community, um if things are removed from you, I was talking to a friend earlier today about, slaves couldn't read at a time. So now if you can't read, you have no understanding of out, you got a uh um understanding of it through your eyes, but you don't understand the linguistics of what you're around. So it inhibits you from becoming powerful and growing, because you don't know the language, and you don't understand like how it's being ran. So yeah, the root, so yeah, the removal, vac, failure, that's how you keep someone, and not, in anyone, you know um from growing into their full potential.
Hmm.
No
It's
knowledge.
go ahead.
Nah, I just said no knowledge.
That's one of the reasons the church before, especially before CV CV-19, and then even before then, because it was already failing. But at one point, especially during the 90s, when they
Mhm.
revived it with the name it and claim it
Mhm.
prosperity gospel,
Mhm.
one of the things they really tapped into was the true magic that they were sitting on. And I talk about this in the book too. The sanctuary of any, especially a Christian church, but any sanctuary of your three Abrahamic religions, the whole concept is based on the woman's womb,
Mhm.
especially the church. You're going to have a main aisle that you go down,
Ooh,
okay?
okay.
And at the end of the aisle, you're going to have two doors. That's the labia, okay?
Mm, okay.
And at the end of the aisle, you got the altar. That's the cervix. Now, one of the reasons that the church is so magical is they do the altar call at the end of the service. And it's a sexual encounter because the preacher has used his tongue as the masculine to stir the people. Whether you're a man or a woman, you take on a feminine persona when you're inside the building because you are there as a vessel to receive. And the preacher is the phallus that is prodding the ears and gaining access to the brains.
Right.
Once if he has done his job effectively, he then sets up the audience to then shift into a masculine role towards the end, because now they're going to become actors, they're going to become active, and they're going to be able to take the action of approaching the altar, which is feminine.
Mm,
And there, but the active masculine always falls. The sun rises on the eastern horizon, it reaches its highest position,
Mm-hmm.
and then it falls. So those who are not already of the flock, he is going to work with the magicians, or I meant to say the musicians, but they are the magicians. And they're going to, between the music and his tonation, inflection, he's going to stir emotion, which are the waters, and move the waves to move them into the altar based on them reflecting on their failures. Most people, when they approach the altar, it is an emotional stirring of the remembrance of their failures in life.
And you want a rejuvenation.
And you want a rejuvenation. So this concept of the fall is necessary and is used in all aspects. It's part of natural law, but it can be used by slicksters
Yes.
and tricksters, you know, to lure people in.
Mm-hmm.
Conscious people do the same thing. Everybody uses this trick because everything in nature is cyclical. So when we are falling, in most cases, we're not understanding of the necessity of the fall. And we're trying hard to stop ourselves from falling. And if a person can recognize you in that phase, they can create a pocket for you to look like it's catching you, to receive you, because you're
Yes.
looking for a wound.
Right. Looking for that.
So that's just a sidebar.
Yeah, that was deep. Um, because like you said, when you're falling, you're looking for that safety net, and then you're giving a and sometimes a falsehood, depending on who you're dealing with, um, or what you're attracted to, where you think you're getting some benefit, and they're just using your energy. And
Mhm.
um, and we see that a lot also. But you said something earlier about the church, and I think what happens when people read the Bible, they want the church to be like the Bible says. And like you said, in the 90s, it got flipped and it became the name it and claim it. And you got when I was going to a church, I could tell the pastor really wanted to. He wanted to. Me and my mom always talk about this guy, man. His name was Pastor Young. He wanted to, I think, tapping into some African American history. He wanted to do some other things with his church, but he was he was a part of a mega church. So he had a template to follow. You know what I mean? And and I knew something was going on because he would start a sermon off, but then he will always talk about how nobody wasn't tithing, but not blatant, just in a slick way. Because when you're a part of a church, you having a call with the guy that the head guy, and we looking at numbers like, why ain't your church tithing? And you got this many members, and they doing 10. Everybody got these numbers. But one thing about his church that I did respect, though, when I went there, I remember we went to Washington D.C., and I think that's where I want to say he was from Harrisburg, but he wound up taking a job and living in that area for a long time. He worked for a telephone company, and we went on the streets, man, and was talking to people and trying to like bring them to Christ. And I remember he wanted to do that in Harrisburg, but some of the kind of he wanted to go to, like, obviously, areas that needed it, our areas, and guys were kind of balking at it, like, pastor, I don't know, and we don't know what's going on out there, and these young kids today, and so I think what happened with the church too was, what we got away from what the Bible principles were to an extent, and kind of got comfortable with having food pantries and fish dinners in the parking lot, and you know what I mean, and you know maybe collecting something from your church and then giving it to an organization to give out to people. I think the church kind of just formed its own way, and in a way that's a failure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you need to have discernment and things like that, but if the church would have progressed in a way, I guess how it should be on paper, then it, it can maybe have a bigger impact than it does.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it can have some impact. I mean it can help to me, it can maybe help put some rosebud salve on some wounds maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the essence of church itself, the whole concept is the failure to me.
Mm.
I think the whole concept of church, it's kind of like,
So you
you
think it's more like pull things from them?
what's that?
You think it's more or less like bring people in, extract from them, and because I guess because through extraction that takes away from individualism of you doing something with yourself with the knowledge that you're receiving. So you like in that way or something different?
Well, I'm thinking a little, maybe a little more esoteric, maybe just the whole. Let's just start with the idea of proselytizing. We're gonna go out here and bring people to Christ. There's no such thing as bringing a person to Christ.
Mm.
We
Okay.
talking about if we get down to what Christ really is, you don't bring somebody to that. I
Bring
can't
you a part
bring
of.
DAP to DAP. DAP is already DAP.
I got you. Yeah, I
What,
got you.
what, the whole concept of Moses in the book, his name means to draw out. So Moses and Christ is the same thing. It's something that has to be drawn out of a person. How can you bring them to that? You understand? So the my thing is the whole concept is backwards. And if
So
it's backwards, yeah, you can do good of trying to convince somebody, you shouldn't be out here doing those drugs. You shouldn't be out here. What's up, BK Trainer? Now I know that's a real human.
yeah,
Um, um, what I see a lot of times is,
I get your concept too. Like if we come from the creator, you can't bring me to the creator when the creator is already in me, right?
yes,
Okay.
and if you're not going to teach the book holistically, then it's a disservice.
Got you.
The way the book to me is taught right now is the way you're supposed to teach it to a child. See, most
Mm.
of these religious handlings is talking about basic morality, um, and that's about the gist of it. Now, I'm not going to say that morality does not have its place because I teach my children morals.
Right.
But the key is children. Even the book itself says in Hebrews, I think it's 5 and 12 or somewhere in there, when you're a child, you drink milk. But when now you are adults, you're supposed to eat solid food.
Mhm.
So if the whole structure is set up of giving big grown ass adults with credit cards and gotta pay rent and gotta buy gas, if we're still teaching them morals and that's the end of it, then it's cancerous. It's cancerous because it ain't a book. The book is not about morals. You're supposed to have that. You're supposed to have the morals taken care of. So now you can start getting down into the real meat and potatoes of the book. Not spend the rest of your life sitting around like I'm supposed to love my neighbor and do unto others as I'm supposed to do to myself. And that's so to me, it's if the house got some leaking pipes, you're gonna have to dig out the drywall and you're gonna have to find where the pipes is leaking, cut the line, solder on some new uh plumb line, put up new drywall, you know. And if
Yeah,
it's too bad, you're gonna have to tear the whole house down. But you can't just paint the wall, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. I see what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense. Um, yeah, when you put it that way, that makes a lot of sense. I think too, uh, with failure, we begin to once we. I, I think it's a blessing to have wherewithal to understand to understand your failure to then begin to um rise yourself up too. Because I think we was talking about that earlier this week too, right? Like just being excited where we're at now through the trials and tribulations of, growing up and things we did growing up, and then being removed from those things and being in a place of clarity, being in a place of, trying to, you know, constantly work on ourselves, better ourselves. Um, it feels like, depending on your home situation of how you're brought up, and I think it's something that's innately in us also, but because you still have to have the wherewithal to see something's going on and want to change it. But I think we get what I call is crossroads moments where if you can recognize it, and I don't know, I like to always keep it on myself, but I like to hope that people can recognize when they've been doing something for so long and they're getting, a thought to do something different. I hope everyone gets that. But the beauty of it is tapping into it and saying, okay, I've been going down this road. I need to do something different. And then working on doing something different to bring yourself to a better place in life. Um, as I feel like, peace, brother Williams. Uh,
Peace, brother Williams.
as I feel like I feel like we both did that by, I, we tell each other our stories, you know, offline, but I feel like we're both in a place where we had failure and then we came to a crossroads and now we're on the path of, trying to get the most enlightenment that we can to better ourselves, for us personally first, because then that's what helped, with our relationships and with our children, and um and having, I I guess, a redemption.
Hmm. I, I I think failure and consciousness go hand in hand.
Hmm.
Like to be conscious and not in the cliche form of the word, but truly to become conscious. We all know it means to be aware. Okay. And so to me, is to be aware means to be able to see and to be able to hear. And so when a person is able to see and hear, they notice things that they didn't notice before. And when you notice things that you didn't notice before, you are now capable to make moves that you previously were incapable of making because you didn't even know that they needed to. You didn't even know that a new move was necessary.
Mm.
So if failure can be a catalyst to increase a person's perception
Okay.
and
Yeah.
to broaden their perspective. Because
Mhm.
I think if the title is How to Overcome Failure, if we're going to throw that out, now we're going to have to start shifting in how is this actually done? How is
Mm.
it actually done? It is first done through a sense of an awareness.
Right.
And that awareness is not trying to exactly figure out how to get out of it. But when you first start noticing you're in a failure cycle, it is human nature to try to figure out how to stop falling.
Right.
So let's say that
Mhm.
because we know what our nature is by observing our children. And when that child is learning how to walk, it learns how to walk by falling.
Right.
But if you'll notice, they try to stop themselves when they're about to fall. Their heads are a little too big at that time. They're trying to catch that big jug and it's
Right.
wobbling and they're trying to balance it because they're like, I don't want to fall again.
Right.
But they fall, but that's how they learn balance. So we know it's in our nature to try to stop ourselves from falling. Okay.
Mhm.
But but the awareness comes in of finally accepting, man, I've fallen into some shit, you
Right.
know. And I literally mean to use the word shit because shit is fertilizer.
Mm.
It's like, okay, I have fallen into shit.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna try to deny it. My ass stank. I stink. I smell it. I've been walking in it. I've now fallen in it. Let me figure out how I can take my hands and spread it out. And that's where the word manure comes from, to spread out with the hands. So let me try to spread this shit out and fertilize this ground. And to make this more practical, we talked about this last week about I'm really finding myself getting hung up on this sixth house in astrology. They say in the Bible, pick up your cross, bear your cross.
Mhm.
What's interesting about the sixth house is the sixth house is the last house before we cross the horizon or we cross the horizon, the horizontal line, which is the cross. So the sixth house is preparing to bear your cross.
Mm.
The
Yes.
sixth house is preparing for the fall because the sixth house is Virgo. Virgo comes before Libra. Libra is the sign that we technically call fall, the fall. So part of overcoming the fall is embracing it by preparing to bear your cross. So the sixth house is dealing with sacrifice. It's dealing with service.
Mm.
It's dealing with discrimination, and not discrimination like you're colored, you can't work. No, discrimination as in discernment. Should I do this or do that? Or I should keep this, but I'm gonna get rid of that. That's what
Yeah.
I mean by discrim. That's the denotative meaning of discriminating. It means to judge, to weigh. And so that's a practical, I think, way of managing the fall. It don't make the shit easy.
Mm-mm.
But
You know,
you know, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna shut up. One a lot, if you look at the internet right now, if you're on Instagram and you're scrolling, there's going to be some ad about how to get more leads. And I'm going to show you with my coaching program how I sold $50 billion worth of such and such last month. Same thing on YouTube, same thing on Facebook. But you know what is, because once again, it ain't sexy. You know what you never hear or you rarely hear? How can I be of service to others?
mm,
How can I give back? How can I take my gifts and enhance the world, the collective? That shit ain't cool.
the game is to be sold, not to be told.
Mm. That makes you weak. That makes you corny. You know, everybody's so cool, everybody's so tough, and this and that, and and how can I serve? So here's the key. Motherfuckers ain't really got no faith. Motherfuckers don't have no faith in themselves. They don't have faith enough in themselves to say that if I serve, I'm gonna be served.
Mm.
Motherfuckers got to browbeat you because you ain't hit their cash app. Browbeat you because you ain't donated or this and that, or you ain't, if it look, and I ain't no fan of Dave Ramsey, but I used to listen to him like 15 years ago. Almost 20 years when I was first getting started in business and everything. And he was like, one thing he used to stick out, he say, you need to have the heart of a teacher. Have the heart of a teacher.
Mm.
But that shit's true. If you're gonna posture yourself to be a fucking teacher, have the heart of one. You don't teach to serve yourself, you teach to serve who you teach. All right, I'm get off my soapbox.
Now I think that's right, because you said something about the failure, and I remember when you said you got to fall and be in it. And
Shalom, young E.
yes, peace, young E. And that's what happened to me in 09. In 07, I knew this is what happened to me. 07, I told my mom, I said, I don't like, I got this download in 07. This is before I was calling them that. It was like, I told my mom, I was at the time, me and my kid's mother, we weren't together. But I told my mom, I was like, yo, I'm gonna get my kids, but I have to do something different. And I didn't know what it was. Now this is 2 years before I hit my bottom. Told her that, living life. 09 comes, homeless. I go to my mom is in North Carolina at the time. My dad's in Michigan. My brother's doing what he do. That's the extent of my immediate family. So I'm at rock bottom. I go to a mission. You can go to the mission and stay 10 days. I think it was 10 days. I get to the mission, meet a young dude from Philly, 19, ex-hustler, Italian kid, Italian guy. I won't call him a kid, Italian guy. I'm there. I'm calling my mom, letting her know, like, look, I'm here. Now, previously, like, I was in North Carolina, but I wasn't in Raleigh. I was in Youngsville. I couldn't. Sorry for me to find a job, so I went back to Pennsylvania. So my man talks me into staying at the mission. I stay at the mission, and I didn't buy into it at first. I was like, okay, this is a 6-month program. I'm just gonna do this, get out, get back to doing me. But while I was there, bro, it everything you said about service and letting go, it all happened there. Because I worked because we had to clean the facility. Like once you got in the program, like you had to clean the facility. You know what I mean? So you cleaning behind other grown men. You had to work in the kitchen, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You had to prepare food for not just staff and ourselves, but we also fed the homeless. So that was humbling. You know what I mean? I even got a haircut in there by by a young bull I knew from like my brother's age. Like I went to school with his sister. And he like him and some other barbers would come to the mission and cut hair, for free. So I would get a haircut in there and like we seen each other in there, you know what I mean? But I let everything go. And it was there that was the building blocks to where I'm at now. But I had to humble myself. I had to, people see me at the mission that knew me like, yo, what are you like, what are you doing in here? Like, you're Tyrone. Like you used to do music and I'm like, you had a decent head on your shoulders. Like what happened? And, but over time, like I didn't like it didn't bother me. It wasn't a thing of like, I felt embarrassed. I just knew like it was a different purpose for me. And while I was in there, like, um, I shared some things in there that relieved the proverbial monkey on my back. And then I also began tapping into what I didn't know was really manifestation. Um, I started tapping into praying and meditating before I really, I was using it under just more under the Christian guys, but when I look back, it brought a lot of things in my life that I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know that was gonna happen. Like you pray and expect things to happen, like you're giving it to God, and then God blesses you with what you're praying for or whatever. But when I look back, I found that I wind up getting things through those prayers and meditation, bro. And that was probably like the illest understanding there. And then meeting other men that were like, you know, you always think your life is hard and you hear other people's story. You're like, yo, like I heard a lot of wild stories in there when guys got the, giving up some of their stuff. And um you saying like when you were touching on what the Libra mean and everything in astrology, like it just like that really hit home because I had to do all of those things to get myself to where I'm at right now.
That's some heavy shit. Damn, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Real life example. Real life example. And you know something else, just to add this to piggyback. You know, when you look at that zodiac wheel and you follow those houses, it's telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
It's telling a story. Man, Virgo is the virgin, okay? But one of the things I found was that Mercury is said to rule Virgo. Mercury so-called rules Mercury, Virgo, and Gemini. But I don't. But that language is kind of might not be quite correct because the sun never rules the mother, and she's the vessel, right?
Right.
Mercury is another example of the Christ energy. Okay. So she gives birth to the sun, which
Mm,
is Mercury. You know what I'm saying? So let's superimpose that onto your experience now in the shelter,
mm-hmm.
where you had to do the work.
Indeed.
And that work was sixth house work, Virgo work, and you were giving birth to a new you. And check this shit out. You thought you were done with music.
Yes, indeed.
Mercury is communication.
Mm.
Look what you're doing now. You're back doing music.
Yep.
Mercury,
Better than ever.
better than ever. And without being inebriated.
Sober to where people like, yo, you gotta be smoking weed making these beats. I'm like, nah, bro. It's just coming to me. Like for real, like straight up. Like my cousin was like, yeah, you gotta be back blowing. Nah. It's just like listen, man, when you live in, I don't want to get cliche-ish and all of that, but like when you really living in your purpose or, you living in your quote unquote truth, what I'm finding out is it it it, it flows, bro. Like when I make these beats, there's no hindrance, there's no confusion, there's no nothing. I know what the equipment does. I like I really feel like the ideas that I have in my mind are really starting to come out. So now things are about to really, I'm about to really tap into what I've been trying to tap into when I was 17, 18 of thoughts. Like I'm reverting back to thoughts I had when I was 17, 18, listening to music and how I want to push music. Now I'm starting to understand the equipment to get the thoughts out. You know what I mean? But so production's about to go. Because I never wanted to be boxing as just a hip hop producer, and I love atmospheric music. So because that was the type of music I listened to, or that there were certain artists in the jazz community that I listened to, like Jean Lupanti, that in that watch, like if you listen to that Watching Birds, the actual song, it was one of the songs I was listening to in the what early 90s that would take me somewhere. So my whole thing was like, let me create music that can take someone else somewhere like that. And I really feel like that's what I'm getting ready to tap into right now. You know what I mean? I'm getting ready to tap into thoughts from 25 years ago, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's because I'm in this moment. Like if I was still getting bopped and trashed and all of that, this would all just still be thoughts. But now sober, clear minded, doing the work as you said, has brought me back full circle to creation and to creating and bringing forth something that maybe I can touch somebody like how the music I listen to touched me. My bad, bro. I gotta take a bathroom break.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's all metaphysical. It's all metaphysical. When a beat is created, even though there's no voice inflection involved, or no speaking or whatever, or singing involved in the creation of a beat, it still is produced from a silence that is not silent, you know? And and when the vocals are performed, they too come from a silence that is not silent. And it's just when art is created, it is one of the most magical things I think that we as humans can do is create art. You know, when I started on here, when you, this etymology of the elements here, you know, I looked at earth and I broke down earth and Middle English ERTHE, Old English EARTHE. And when you keep tracing back to Old Frisian, Old Saxon, Old High German, Old English, um, then to Middle Dutch, what you start getting from as an origin of the word earth is it goes AERD, then it goes AERT, then it goes ARD as in ard, and then it becomes ART, art. Earth is art. And it's funny because it's sitting right there in the word. Let's see if the camera can pick this up.
Yep. Art is in earth.
I can't see that shit. It's hard to figure out how to hold my hand. Either way, it's on there. Art is in earth. So, you know, when you can figure out a way to create some art, you know, it is a way to congeal all of that stuff that's been going on behind your own personal veil, and then bring it out into the open.
Yes, because I think it's amazing. I just watched the documentary. Well, I had it on and I was listening to it because I was listening to it at work. And I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm going to be using it for my first musical art opus. I'm taking some excerpts from this joint because it was crazy. And to make an opus with it. And it's going to be the first thing I use with this Adobe Premiere to make a visual behind it. That it just came to me. Maybe I shouldn't have put that in the world, but it feels good. But one thing I like about art is when I sit down to make a beat or just listening to artists and they sit down, and I like abstract art and expressionist art, and but when I sit down to make a beat and you mentally you have a thought where you want to go, but it's crazy how your mental thoughts turns into sound, and it's just like an artist. Like if you go watch Jackson Pollock, you know, he's outside with a big canvas, and in his mind he has order in his mind of what he's doing, and then he's putting paint on he's flicking the paint on the canvas, and you're looking and you're like, but in his mind it's I don't know how to, however it's laying, but in his mind he's doing it in the order, and then it's doing its own thing after that. So it's kind of like he's flinging the paint in the air, then it's landing how it lands, but it feel like he's still shaping it mentally, and then it's his thought on the piece. So it's like the same thing with the music. I'll start off with just a weird instrument, and it'll end somewhere else as I continue the musical painting. That's why I'm really trying to form my music to, like, I really wanted to be like paintings, you know. I was thinking of like a new term like digital musical art or something. So like when you listen to it, I want you to listening to it, but I want you to envision a painting. I don't know
Hmm.
if that sounds weird or not, or if but that's what I'm trying to do with this music, bro. Digital musical art. And just digital because I'm not using any analog instruments. You know what I'm saying? So digital because it's, computerization, musical because it is music, and then art. You know what I'm saying? So when you listen to it, think of a painting or something like that, you know. Um, but when all these different ideas come in my mind and I bring them out, um, I don't know. That's what I love about art. I remember me and you talked about it before. We was like, "Yo, is a pile of rocks art?" You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You could go outside and look at a pile of sticks and be like, "Yo, like that's like just like the wind blew all of this stuff in the direction, and somehow it all congealed here and formed something naturally." You know what I
Mm.
mean? Um, and that's like when I went out and took all these pictures last week, and I took over 100 shots. And when I was walking around downtown, I was catching angles because I was just walking around looking. And as in mental pictures were coming, I was like, "Oh, that's an ill angle," and then just get my camera and snap it. I was just finding some of the craziest angles of, this building with this building, and then and then this space with this sky here. Like, yo, these pictures is crazy. And Earth is art, and we're here to create. You know what I'm saying? Um, and there's a lot of different creations. Basketball players. You know, the physical. Drawing. Structures. Like it's all around us. And then when we look at it from the macro, if we was to be able, like, just think if we was able to just look at our universe. You could get those apps where you see the suns in the middle and then the planets and all of that. But just think if we could get a crazy view of it like that, plus the constellations, like, bro, that's a beautiful ass portrait.
Hmm.
And its order.
Yeah.
So whatever created us deals in order, deals in art, and we can see it in ourselves if we really pay attention. That's why I love to just look outside. You know what I mean?
Everything's being recycled. Our water on the planet is recycled water,
Mm-hmm.
and it's extraterrestrial in nature. That water is infused with stardust.
Mm-hmm.
So, even on a purely scientific level, we are infused with the cosmos. We are being lived by energies we pretend to understand. That's not
Mm.
my quote. That comes from James Hillman, who's quoting another guy, a poet. But we are lived by energies we pretend to understand. So, what we do, there's a thin line we walk when we create art.
Mm-hmm.
We open ourselves up to become vessels or channels for energies that we're not always completely aware of.
Right.
What we do though is try to put ourselves on certain frequencies. And so that means if I tune in to 99.9 FM, I know and within that bandwidth, there's a certain signal coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can't say I can completely define the signal. I just know I pick it up. So when somebody's creating art, they're presenting the frequency that they tapped into and putting it on display. And for me, I'm going through a renaissance. See, before I was an athlete, before I picked up, put on a football uniform or picked up any weights, I was an artist. I was a visual artist. I was a singer. I was a performer. I was in productions as a kid. Now, in our neighborhoods, first of all, art is not really, it ain't cool. It's not championed, so it was much more applauded to be an athlete.
Right.
Yeah. Which there's nothing wrong with that. I would never trade my experiences as an athlete because I still use those intangibles to this day. But I suppressed the whole side of my being. I threw it away. My art. So for me, I'm going through a renaissance. It took a while for us to find the right engineer. And as I'm learning more about myself, I'm learning why that was so important because I really do respond to what's the energy of the room.
Yep.
Now I ain't one of these crazy motherfuckers that go in there. I gotta, excuse me, I've got to burn some sage and walk through the studio before I can start performing. And then I'm gonna have to take my tuning forks and align the frequencies. And now I'm not one of them goofies, but I don't want to be around somebody in the studio where they're like, oh, what this was spoken word?
Right.
Spoken word you doing? What kind of stuff is it? You like that East Coast? Oh, okay, I got you.
Right.
Just goes right there. Now I'm already thinking, you're not going to put your best foot into engineering my music because you're trying to figure out a box to put it in because you're already uncomfortable because it doesn't match the frequency that you're on.
Right.
So we had to find somebody who was on the frequency and not let this guy don't come from no walk of life, our walk of life.
Right.
None. Except he's a guy who loves art.
Yes.
Open-minded to art. Even if it's art he ain't really into, he appreciates good art, great art. And so now I'm allowing myself to be Jamal from 1982.
Yes.
This is 1983 Jamal you're getting. I'm not worried. See, I'm going to say this. I don't try to write down to people's level, whether I'm writing in a book, doing a presentation, or I'm writing bars. I'm not trying to guess what level people are at and say, well, they ain't gonna get this. I'm gonna write. No, I'm gonna write this shit at the level that my synapses fire at.
Yes.
And if it so happens to be above maybe some folks' level, well, great, they can come up to it. But I also believe that there are people who are at my level and higher who might appreciate it off the cuff.
And that ties back into the monetization of art created failure because people were put in the box to make money because they always tell us, well, it's the music business, so it's about making money. So now, before they knew what to do with hip hop, per MC Light, she said, "Oh, we was able to do whatever we wanted to do." Like the record labels didn't know what was going on; they was just happy to be getting some coinage from it, and then they sat in the room per se, you know what I mean, and figured it out and was like, "Oh, okay, this NWA hitting, this does numbers. Oh, okay, that other stuff, can that?" And we've been on that road ever since. But just like how you said, we're getting 1983 Jamal. Now how ill is this? If you're getting 83 Jamal, you're getting 25 years ago me. You're getting us at a time where we had thoughts then, but our lives were in different places and we couldn't tap into what we tapping into now. So it's cyclical, as you said, that now and we have the wherewithal to even know we're tapping back into that energy to bring it forth now in a more clear-headed time. So we had these thoughts of, man, I wanted to, when I got into production, I'm like, oh, I want to, I just knew I wanted to get my thoughts out. I didn't want to be like the greats. You know what I mean? I respect the greats and I like the greats, but I didn't want to take their template and make the beats they were making. Because to me, then you just keep doing the same thing. I might be using different sounds, but I'm doing the same thing they doing. So now you're getting me and Jamal from earlier thoughts of what we wanted to do, but we're unable to do at that time, and we can do them now. And that's the beauty that the creators circled it back in that way. That's ill.
You know what? You want to give the people an example of how we work. I got an idea. If you can, cue up dinner at the bistro.
Okay.
I want them to hear that. Let me explain this first of all. When we create something, there's no pre-planning that goes into nothing. So what he does is he puts these ill titles on these beats. And as a what I used to do was, I'm like, well, I'm writing. I want my own title, just based on. But what I started doing was, I'm on. And some every now and then I'll change the title, or we'll agree on something. But for the most part, I roll with the title he sends it with. I'm like, I'm gonna craft my shit round. It makes the shit just it improves the creativity. So this title is Dinner at the Bistro. What the fuck? Dinner at the Bistro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so this is how I start letting my imagination run. I start imagining myself sitting down with somebody interviewing me at some little bistro, downtown Dallas, and they want to hear they want me to kind of tell my life story somewhat, okay? But I only get the life story thing though after I hear the beat. Now listen to how the beat pulls on the writer to produce certain bars, and then after you hear this, I'm going to read what I wrote, just the first verse of what I wrote when I heard the beat.
Here we go. How's that sound?
Crank it just a little bit. You got your monotone, your metronome is going.
Oh,
Take it back to the top. That's already done set the tone. Even that changes the emotion right there. Here it comes. Okay. When I heard that, like I said, okay, dinner at the bistro. So it's almost like when you look at well, I ain't gonna go there. I was about to use an astrological reference, but I'll be okay. So I said dinner at the bistro. I think of a little quaint little spot, little bistro, you know. And so I'm listening to the way the beat is kind of moaning. I'm like, it sounds like either you got to tell a story, or it's got to be some type of deep, introspective type of bars. You know, these are not something you're gonna brag with. I'm the illest MC that ever walked the. You know, that's not that type of beat.
Right.
You know, so I said, such a beautiful failure. My life is. Hopefully, this brief bar. Such a beautiful failure. My life is. Hopefully, this brief shorter compel you. For 4 decades with pinned back ears, I paddle upstream through water with no cheers. No toast, no bottles, popping champagne. Cause of me, the championship has yet to be attained. I spent my childhood years trying to fit in squares with circular pins had only been. My community celebrated when I did not win. And when that beat coming, when the beat breaks down, I'm already picturing how the engineer gonna have my voice repeating, so it just lets that sink in your ear as the beat is going through that little break.
Yeah.
You know, then I'm gonna come back and remind you, did you catch that? Is it not insane as you look back? with me quickly. The story fast forwards to 93. 8 Ball MJG spoke to me, explained with curl hair and gold teeth how to break bees. They came out hard. I touched my first 100 piece of that white hard, then had a pocket full of stones like Pimp C. Hold up, I was scared. I was green. I mean, I was a smart kid, leader of the football team. My trajectory was supposed to be the cream. But 96, I was blowing weed and touching quarter peas. I'm a sophomore in college, not one book did I read. But on the football field, I balled lights out like a OD. 4 years passed, scholarship expired, college dropout, ran the streets, I was tired. I'm gonna stop there. I know it might not seem like that's gonna fit in, but I promise you, all them bars is in pocket.
Yes, I believe it.
They in pocket. And but it, and it's I felt like I'm at this bistro and this lady's interviewing me. She went, well, tell me about your life. Like, okay, let me tell you. It's no fanfare. I fucked up quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it lines right up with the show. I've been quite a failure. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? But um, I feel wildly successful
Yeah.
because of
Yes. Yes.
that's
And
what you know.
I think and with these beats, just listening to that beat, and what you just in the lyrics that you just read, I'm listening, I'm thinking about how all those sounds are going to merge with the lyricism. Like when it comes together, like how is all of that swooshing sound? Like what part of the lyric is that gonna hit with? You know what I mean? While you're rhyming, it's like, that's how intricate we are with the music, man. Like I, I get excited about like, how how's the bass line gonna sit with the lyric? Like how the lyrics gonna sit with the beat? You know what I mean? Just period. And then when you get the different sounds of what's going on in it, like how is that gonna hit on a certain bar? You know what I'm saying? Like that right now is like that's crazy. I don't know if anyone's looking at music like that. You know what I mean? Looking at music as a portrait, as a piece of, as a painting with the lyrics and the music. Like I don't think no one's looking at you. Just and I get it. Like we listen to music, it touches us in a way. Lyricism, it might be the beat one time, it might be the beat and lyrics. But I'm really at the point in my life of enjoying the intricacies of life and art. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Like I'm just gonna be honest, bro. Like I know we be tossing the word mundane around, but listen, I'm more into the intricacies of life right now, bro. And I don't even think, and I think it's just gonna get deeper. And as I get deeper into that way, it's gonna more and more. Like I was talking to my man the other day, I'm like, yo, like I don't like sports don't even do nothing to me no more. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a huge Michigan fan and all of that. And it's like Michigan number 2 in the country in college basketball. You know what I mean? Getting ready to go into the NCAA tournament. And like I truly have nothing to it. Like I see it and it's like, okay, cool. But like I'm not like, yo, we're number 2. I can't wait to see what we do in the tournament. Like none of that's there. He'll call me like, yo, your Lions got a great wide receiver. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's telling me about it. I'm like, yo, bro, I don't even be paying attention to the games like that. So I'm leaning more into the art, bro. Like when I listen to these artists and like they sound so free when I listen to them talk about being in art. Like it's like they hit their sweet spot and they just want to live in it. You know what I mean? They just want to, and I feel like that's where I'm headed. I was telling my wife the other day, I just got some more expansions and I'm like right now I'm feeling like I'm just pulling sounds from the air, seeing how they work together now. Like all these sounds are around me. I got records, I got expansions, like I got goo gobs of sounds now. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I feel like I told her, I feel like I'm pulling from the air. Oh, let me grab this and put it together. Then I sent it to Jamal, and he's like, "Yo, my man's wild." Like, and then he calls me like, "Yo, like today I sent them 2 beats today. Yeah, I got something going already." I'm in the back like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." And what you told me in the text, you said, the
The
titles are
magic is in the
oh
title.
yes. I sent him a beat called "Mysterious Fragrance." Lowercase. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on my art shit. Like it's lowercase. And I sent them another one. What was the other one I sent you? Let me see if I can look at that real quick.
Expression is the art.
Expression is art. And that came from watching that documentary the other day and listen to these people talk about art. And I didn't know all of these African American, I didn't, because this was based on African Americans in art. And I didn't know outside of like Gordon Parks taking pictures and maybe a couple other people, I didn't know we had this many artists in that world. You know what I'm saying? And so it was very enlightening to hear that. And yeah, I'm really on my arts. I'm really on my being artistic, bro. Um and really tapping into that. And then like we always say, like, bro, like to have a person that can write to these beats and challenge himself to write to these beats. Just makes it makes it all the better. It makes it all the better.
Let me mm,
I gotta try to figure out this Google mic thing so these beats can come through crisp. I'm gonna do that once we hop off here. I'm gonna try to figure this mic joint out. Oh yeah, we need our banners popping, G. We need the banners popping.
yeah, I'm trying to yeah, I need to start
I forgot about the banners. There it go. There it go.
so y'all can go and check out the art.
Yes. Yes. We putting a lot of work into this music, man. I mean, and not like I'm gonna be honest with you, like we got a lot on the horizon, but it's not even work for real. So I'm not gonna even like a strenuous thing. You know what I'm saying? It, it's like where we're at right now. I mean, y'all don't know it, but Jamal Penn is on fire. So that's all that need to be said. like his,
Appreciate it.
like his pen on like I think the last 8 beats I done sent is pen to paper. You know what I'm saying? So he's expired. I mean, not he's inspired. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Him writing inspires me because it lends me to keep going in the direction I'm going, which is no direction. I'm just sending. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm making beats and sending them, and you know what I mean. Like there's no expectancy he's gonna write to everything. But what I found out is he'll go back to a beat from 2 years ago where he's at now and be like, yo, I wrote to such and such. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I went, he said, I took a ride with the kids and let the beats run. And, I forgot about this one. And stopped at the gas station. I stopped at Bucky's and wrote 8 bars. I'm saying, like,
Right.
I'm like, wow. Like, so it's like nothing's off the table. And as he says, our cupboard runneth over. Um, shit, we got enough beats to give y'all, and we got enough material to get y'all shit for the next decade. Like, like I ain't gonna even play with you. Like, I mean, it's just amazing. I know we keep saying it, but it's really a blessing to go through what we went to go through the things we went through, to recognize it, to do the work to get to where we are now. And then, because even when you do the work to get where you are, the work's not over. You have to maintain where you're at. So you're in the constant you're constantly working and evaluating and adding on and taking from to keep yourself in this place that we're at.
Yes, sir.
I think the art does that. It gives us an outlet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I tell people, man, like, you can draw or whatever, bro, just tap into your art. You know, I was talking with one of my close friends passed away probably close to a month ago now. And I talked to a brother I ain't talked to in a minute that actually introduced me to the guy when we was in junior high. And I'm like, yo, what you doing with your art? He's like, you know, man, I peter around here and there. And I mean, this dude has a pen. Like, he's ill. Like, I remember we were sitting somewhere blowing. He'll just have a pencil and draw on anything and be like, yeah, you know. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, oh yeah, you know, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, bro, you're crazy. But he's not doing nothing with his art. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not even finding a way, because now we're in the time now that you could do something with your art, man. You know, doors are opening and you could do something with it. Another a friend, he just started his own thing called Notable Designs. You know, he can draw. He does a lot of sneakers and stuff. But you know, he can draw. He does jeans but now he got like his little patches to put on a jacket or something now. Like, but he's stepping into his art. You know what I mean? I was just like, his name's Nick. I'm like, bro, like, it's dope to see. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I see people stepping in something outside of their everyday job and they're like, I got this talent, and they stepping into it, or if I know you got it, like, I'm like, if I know you do music, I'm like, yo, Bandcamp, like, yo, just promote yourself on your social media, put some stuff out on your Bandcamp. You know, I was telling some family members that, like, bro, like, it right now is where we wanted it then. Like, when I was rhyming in 95, it was so much like the politics of it all. You know, you gotta get 100 demos made. You gotta mail them to 100 record labels. You gotta go get a 100 photos. Like, you gotta send this whole media type package to 100 labels for them to just open your joint and throw it in the bin with 1,000 other CDs, and hopefully a A&R walk in there and just grab something out and be like, oh, this is dope, and you get on. You know what I'm saying? Now it's wide open, you know? And like me and Jamal say, like, bro, we at a point now, like, we don't want to be superstars. Like, we just want to enjoy doing the art, maybe rub a few pennies off of it, and be cool. Like, we're not trying to be on MTV and the Grammy Awards and all of that. Like, it's not even about that.
Hell no. But the thing is to make enough money to justify getting up every day and creating more art.
Yep. Yep.
And to not, and to not like that. No, he know. I always tell him he know my number.
Yeah.
You know, I got a number, and I don't care about going nowhere and people know me and this and that, because that's just not I like my privacy. But one thing about this, the era we in now, it's a lot of BS going on, but it's also a lot of positives. You
Yep.
know, just the fact, just we able just to hook up some cameras and get on here and talk to the world.
Right.
I never take it lightly. I don't take this lightly. I guess that's why I don't get in front of the camera more often because I could just, put up the phone real quick and record something. Hey y'all, keep your chin up, do your best, just something just to stay in front of people's because that's the whole thing. You got to stay in front of their face, be
Mm-hmm.
relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't take this lightly. Another thing I don't take lightly is whenever we can record music, I don't take it lightly because look, we 40 something years old.
Right.
We remember back in the day how hard it was to record music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still excited every time I hear my voice on top of a track and I'm not taking it off of SoundCloud and recording it, playing it on one phone and recording myself with another phone. Like it's a real studio produced, engineered. I I still am amazed every time we put something out.
Yes. It's an exciting. Yeah.
That's me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And when people check it out and comment on it, it's just like, wow.
That's icing on the cake. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they get it. And I think one thing about us is we're not going to rest on our laurels. We're going to keep pushing and pushing. I get that from the jazz guys. Keep pushing, bro. Like keep reaching. Um it's endless. There's no need to sit back and continue to try to make the same song over and over and over and over. Like, no, like we're gonna keep pushing. The production mate, not that one. Oh, this one. Like, but we're pushing. One thing you ain't gonna be able to say about Think Music is like, them brothers, every time they put something out, it's kind of the same thing over and over. Like, nah, bro, we really working on concepts and well, I'll say more Jamal because he writing, but he's really working on concepts and I think on the beats, that's what I'm doing on my end. You know what I'm saying? The best thing, and we said this before, we can't reiterate it enough, is that he writes and I make beats. And first thing he told me was send them how you make them. Just send, bro. You want to put a chorus in? Nah, just send it. Word? Yeah, just send it, bro. I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? And then he find where he need to, he'll put the chorus where he want to put it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Like Divine. Like, there's a vocal sample on Divine, and I said this to him before, and it's like, it says you here, and then he comes in and say Divine. And I'm like, yo, did you line that up like that? He was like, nah. But organically it lined up. Because it's like, you hear Divine. You hear Divine. And I'm like, yo, like that. But the way he wrote it, because I as a writer, I know you get locked into writing. So there's a time when you're writing where the beat's there, but you don't know the beat's there because you just in the flow of writing. So sometimes you could write something and don't, like he said, he didn't line that up like that. He just wrote it, being in the zone of the beat, and then I'm listening back to it, and I peep something, and I'm like, yo, you put that like that? He like, nah. He was like, yo, I ain't even really peep it like that. And I'm like, yo, that's something organic and natural.
Mm-hmm. And while we on Divine, I want to throw in something. I want go back and listen to all our stuff. And if you don't,
Please.
if you want to get a preview before you go to Bandcamp, most of the stuff is on this YouTube channel,
Oh,
on the Think Music playlist. Go listen to Divine, and there's like I, I really be wanting like people to really really listen. You know, like Daps said, his pops would always tell him how to listen to jazz. You got
yes.
to go and listen to each member of the quartet or the band
Mhm.
play. Then you listen to the whole. First,
P.
listen to the whole track. Then go back and listen to Miles and listen to Coltrane. And you,
Mhm.
we implore you, because we're infusing a jazz mindset into the music, to really listen like that to these. Go through and listen to a song just to enjoy it, and then go back and listen to all the intricacies of the instrumental,
Mhm.
of the beat. Then go back and really listen to the lyrics
And like Jamal suggests, listen to it with earbuds.
with earbuds. Put them in, get the full effect. When you listen to Divine, one thing I'm doing in there is Divine is spelled Divine. So when you hear me say something, debonair, intelligent, visionary, intuitive, nuanced, extraordinary, divine. I'm using divine as an acronym. D
Mm.
for debonair, I, intelligent, V, visionary, I, intuitive, N, nuanced, E, debonair, intuitive, visionary, expressionary, something like that. But
Yep.
I do it several times in the song.
Section exceptionary, maybe.
Yeah,
I,
exception. What I say, exception,
I think that you said expressionary, but I think it's
exceptionary. Yeah. I'm trying to find that in here. I know I'm a little bit off topic, but I've been wondering if anybody peeped that. You know, I know you ain't supposed to tell that, but
oh you
uh,
you ain't telling us what the lyrics mean. Yo, your ghost.
I'm trying to find that song, those bars. Uh, my bad.
No,
Yeah. Debonair, intelligent, visionary, intuitive, nuanced, extraordinary, divine. Then there's a one that says, the rose of Sharon meets the dove, my dictionary intersects vividly, imagine now early, divine. And most of the time I'll say divine after I do it. And it'll say, but the dawn is Venus's intuitive new emotion, divine. Um, dedicated in verbal intent, nine ether, divine. So yeah, just little things like that. Like, we're giving y'all art. That's all I'm trying. We're giving y'all art.
yep.
You know, um, it's not easy to sit down and write no shit like that. You gotta sit down and like, you just can't go in and blow a blunt, go in the studio, be like, throw the track on. All right, I'm ready. You know, some of the music we put out, we didn't had to live with it. We didn't had to. Oh man, if only y'all knew. Oh man.
And we giving listen, man. I think what we're it and I don't make super long beats. If you get something from us now, these opuses are long, but if you get a beat like a single from us and it's 3+ minutes, um, I was feeling myself. Something's going on. What we're compacting 2 minutes and 40 seconds mostly is our average, is um very impactful if you really listening. Um I think of songs like Julius and Malone.
Mm.
I mean, those horns, um, when that joint come in, is triumphant. Like that's how me and Jamal be talking about these beat. Like we be like, you know, we talk about these instruments and what they're doing to us when we hear them. You know, it's like, you know, and then it just comes in and that 808 hits. It's like, and and he comes in with an authoritative tone that's just you gotta, it's like you gotta stand at attention when that joint come on, bro. Know what I'm saying? You know, and he ends it authoritative. You know what you say at the end? Um, that's my joint at the end.
You do the something like,
Yeah, yeah. Yes. I'm like,
um,
I forgot how you end that joint, but it's like it's just man, it's dope.
uh, oh, swing the rock round the perimeter till Moses is drawn from the water and the centaur, half man, half animal centaur. The man's made, a man made. You pick either or. You pick either or. Yeah.
Either or. Come on, bro. Like, and then it comes right back into that horn. It's like, bro, the way these things are crafted, man. Like he said, if y'all just go through the archives, go through the catalog on Bandcamp, and just really, you know, put them earbuds on and just listen. We, it, it's the music. This is Public Enemy, KRS, Poor Righteous Teachers, Rakim. This is that again. This is that again. It's Think Music. That's why we named ourselves that, bro. Like the music is it's here to make you think, and it's a simple name, but it's to the point. And um, and we just hope you guys enjoy it, man, because we enjoy doing it.
I want to throw this out here before we wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
One of our goals is potentially to start a subscription service through Bandcamp
Mm-hmm.
where you'll pay a minimal amount a month and you have access to all our music. You can stream our music.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever anything new comes out, you'll have access. What happens when, and we don't have it set up yet, but we just want to put this out into the ethers, that with support through something like this, what we can do is just start dropping music every month,
Yes.
and not trash, but dope shit
Yes.
every month, because we got enough music sitting in the arsenal, and this is not no exaggeration. We got enough music right now that if everything stopped, if we just went to the studio with what we got now, we got enough to get through at least 2022.
At least.
At least. But conservatively, to get through 2023. That's how much music I just been writing, just writing. I got over 100 beats the Dap sent me. I'm like a fat kid in the candy store, just Jolly Ranchers, Annihilators, Starbus, Oh, I'm sounding like, yeah, Starburst.
Uh oh.
You know, alkaline water. Yeah. Hold on. I get so much stuff. I get so much stuff be coming through. let me let me say this. Let me say this. I rocks with my man Yash. That motherfucker. Hey, he be kicking some. He be kicking some real shit. But the motherfucker's funny.
Yeah.
Ain't no bones. Uh,
Well, latest joint, that's where I got them. That's where I got them samples from for the beat.
oh,
From his
when you realize that everything is a lie, you just don't want to buy nothing. You know.
That's the reason where I am. I think
He'd be like Colorado and Colorado Springs. Hold on, let me get some of this alkaline water.
yo, that this is a classic.
Nah, but my man, I rocks with my man though, you know. But yeah, if not if when we get it set up,
Right.
and some of y'all who really rock with us, and then the other people who gonna come along who just don't know we exist yet, you know, come along and we get this subscription rolling, we can keep putting out music, you know, and shit, and see where it goes, you know.
Thanks for that, Ninja Trickery.
That's a hell of a name. Y'all synthesis of let's do like the other people on the now see now how they be doing that. They be let's look like all the other big time StreamYard users. Let's see how we do this shit. Trying to get my damn mouse. The hell? Fuck it, we do it like that. Touch screen. Says y'all synthesis of Generation X on the previous podcast was very insightful and exact. Much appreciation. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I always wondered how people was doing that. Now I know.
How do you do that? You click on it?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, just click on it over here under the comments and it make it pop up on you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
On the main screen. Yeah.
One of the Conscious Brothers, I was working and stopped to type something, and he did that for my comment. Wonder Woman bracelets.
Who did that?
Wonder Woman bracelets.
Oh, you put oh man, you a trip. Oh. Oh wow. Mm.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that though. I thought it was something. Yeah, I didn't know how that. I didn't know they could do that to pull it up to, to show it. But that's pretty dope.
Well, G, you got anything else?
Nah, nope. Nope. Support the music. Let us know what y'all think, man. You know, in the comments. You can comment on Bandcamp also. And just let us know. Let us know what y'all think, man. Like Jamal said, we got a lot. We have enough music to drop a song a month, and up until 2023, really to 2030. But I'll be conservative, and because we got 100 beats. Like, well, no, yeah. So 100 beats is what? Oh no, that's only 12 months. Yeah, so yeah, we got y'all. Um, but yeah, we just working and yeah, we working. I'm working and
And we'll have some new music coming soon, very soon. Um,
this next batch we're about to put out. This next EP. Oh my goodness.
and you on this next one you'll be able to hear what this dinner at the bistro gonna really sound like.
Yes. Yes. Because I hadn't heard that beat in a little while. Um, but yeah, man. Great show.
No doubt.
Thanks to BK Trainer and Brother Williams, Young E, Ninja Trickery, the Bot Zbeck, and yeah.
Doubt. Yeah, we appreciate y'all tuning in, hanging out with us, especially at this hour. We come on late. But you know, as always, stay down till you get up, stay down and think music. Think music. Think period. And y'all keep it on the top side. Salute, Brother Williams. I got you too. I got you too, brother. I'm trying to I got a good bit done today so I can get to yours. And
Oh, and Brother Williams, did you send up? Did you? Are you? Man, what's the name of that group again? Distant Rally. Is that your music group? Hmm.
he, I
Yeah.
said, yeah, that's him.
All right. Yeah, that's dope, bro. That's dope. I was checking it out today. I'm gonna tap in tomorrow when I go clean. I'm gonna tap in. I listened to 2 songs and I followed you back on the gram. But yeah, yeah, that's dope. I really like what y'all doing. It sound good too.
Yeah, they got good. I told them they got that mix of that down south and that Midwest. Um, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to them tracks again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's people out here.
And I saw y'all followings. Yeah, yeah. I need to get back to my pen. I got a notebook sitting here. Like I got my notepad sitting here. Um, I'm gonna try to get 8 out of me. I think
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna, yeah, for real. Like, I don't know, man. Like I'm on my Andre 3000. I don't know what to talk about. Um, so I just make instrumentals, bro. But yeah, I got a pad sitting here, bro. Like for real. So I don't know. I think if I could, I don't know, man. I just can't, for whatever reason, I can't. It doesn't come out like it used to, and I haven't really been on it like that. But I think I can stick out some bars over time, um, just for the sake of doing it. But
Oh, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, or I might just go on my box and pull out some old joints. And oh, no doubt, Brother Williams, no doubt. Like, cause when I was looking, like today, I look and I'm like, Oh, it says Ida. It says I Boise, and I'm like, last week we was talking about the bird and all that, and we was talking. I said, oh, this might be the, and I had to ask Jamal, and then we kind of put it together and was like, he was like, yeah, he think that was you. So yeah, yeah, and thanks for the follow on SoundCloud for me also, bro. Like, and thanks for checking out some tracks too, fam. I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, uh, I'm gonna try to pull this. I might dig in that box and just regurgitate some old verses. I got a whole bunch of half writtens in there. I might be able to take something from 03, put some 2021 on it, and make a 16 out of it. You know what I'm saying? As
Right.
I ain't looked at my box in a minute. That's like the last thing that I have one tape, and I have all my raps I ever wrote. So that's the last little piece I got from my music career. My aunt threw all my music away when I left it out Michigan. So one of my friends had a tape. I don't even know how he got it because I didn't even give tapes away like that. But I got one cassette of me rapping on it, and I got all the rhymes I ever wrote. Try to dig through.
And yeah, Trickery, thank you as well.
Yeah, yep. Thank you, Trickery.
Brother William said that his man is the one who bought 5 beats.
Yeah, because I was. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that because I was looking and I told Jamal about that. I didn't know if that was you, but yeah, that's dope. And actually, that beat one. Go back and listen to Beat Needs Bars because Jamal spit on that beat. So if you scroll through his it's on the Think Music playlist. Go to Beats Needs Bars, and Jamal spits on that joint. He spits on that one beat. Crazy too. Ridiculous. So yeah, check that out.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Beats need bars.
He said I was already done with this rap stuff, but came back to it. Yeah, I thought I was done too. Like, talking like we was talking earlier, and I know we got to get off, but like we was talking earlier, like what happened with me was I started hearing samples again, but I didn't have any equipment. Like I did buy an ASR 10 when I first moved down here, but the ASR 10 was so obsolete with where music is today, as far as trying to use it as a standalone thing. But yeah, man, I kept hearing samples in my head, and I was like, yo, if I had something to make this beat with, like, I would chop this or loop that, and I'm beatboxing stuff in my head. And then I told my wife one day, I was like, yo, I'm gonna go get me a drum machine. Like, I'm gonna go get me an MPC. And I went to go get it. They only had the machine, and they was like, this is the new thing. So I bought a machine, sat on it for 6 months because I was like, I gotta do all this learning because I was just mentally I wasn't where I'm at right now. Even though I had cleaned myself up and all that, I was still working on some cobwebs. And then I just tapped in. And from 2017 to now, I've been tapped in. And I think I can tell by the beats. Because if you listen to my first beat on SoundCloud, that's the first beat I put out in the public. And if you go from that to the last beat I just put on my SoundCloud, which was last night, you'll see growth. And I think that's what I want my career to be. Progression. I'm like really big on this progression thing. That's why I put out stuff that, on my Bandcamp, there's a bunch of music on there. Like those volume 1 through 4s is just throwaway. I'm not gonna say throwaway beats, but they're beats that they're idea beats. You know what I'm saying? That I just had sitting in my computer, and I didn't, I could have not put them out, but I just wanted everything out. So I put it out. And he said, I ain't spitting over another brother's work that's done already. Yeah, some of them beats, like that Beats Need Bars album that your man bought that beat off of, Jamal he only wrote to a couple of those joints. It's a lot of beats on. It's like 22 beats on there. I think he wrote How many beats is on Beats Needs Bars? Three, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he only wrote the 3 beats off of that joint. Um, unless he wrote something that we didn't put out, um, but yeah. So a lot of those beats is open. And those beats are for cats to spit on though. That's why that album's called Beats Need Bars, and that's why I made them so long, because I wanted, the concept was you put that on, and I know people probably don't do it now, but like when I was coming up, and we was rhyming, we used to have to, hopefully somebody has some instrumentals or some, instrumentals or some industry beats. So the concept behind Beat Needs Bars is you put that on at a party and let MCs just go hard. And I made the beats long because you get into a flow, you might give somebody 48 bars and you want to, you don't want the beat to turn off and everybody be like, oh. So I made the beats long just for cats to rhyme on. That's the concept behind Beats Needs Bars. Thanks for the love. Love the Bandcamp and SoundCloud catalog. Good looking, fam. Yeah, them SoundCloud beats is like, you can see the years on them. They're about to be 3 years old. But I have a little more space left before because they want me to upgrade so I can have unlimited. So I can have unlimited. Are they royalty free beats? Some of my beats have sound sources in them, I'll say. And they're named on my SoundCloud, they're named. So I wouldn't, like, I will be careful trying to, putting that out. But the beats that have the beats that just says Mun in the title are original beats. The ones that say Mun and Jean-Luc or Freddie Hubbard, those are sample beats, and them samples not cleared. But my SoundCloud page is not monetized, so I'm not getting any money off of those, off those streams or anything like that. So, but all my other stuff, yeah, it's like I'm not suing nobody. You know what I mean? Like I would, I would love for you to get, holler at me about it, but and not you in particular, just people, period. But yeah. You can spit those joints. Just spit, bro. Just spit. For real.
Shit. Let's get on there and some of the stuff is just to put some art out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because I could send you beats. Like just you could just hit me with your email. I could send you, you know what I mean? I could, I send like Jamal got all my beats. So, except for the beats for the Candidate 2020 album I was gonna put out last year. Them the only beats he don't have. But everything else he has. Like every time I make a beat, I send them a beat. So, you know what I mean? Shoot me an email. I'll put you on the beat list. You know what I mean? And if something touch you, right, bro. You know what I mean? I'm all about the art, bro. Put the art out. push your pen. Cause these beats, Jamal says it all the time. These beats, you need a pen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at your chart right here.
All right, I have Jamal text it to me.
Yes. Everything is pointing to the 11th house. Yeah, I'm gonna sit with this, Brother Williams. It's like everything is
chart music.
say what now?
Chart some chart music for you.
No, the native of the chart Well, good brother. I'm about to sign off.
All right.
Once again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Y'all the real MVPs. For real. And we'll be back again for another one.
Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.